Okay, so before this tutorial starts, I just want to preface the video by saying I'm not a licensed makeup artist and I'm not a SFX artist by any means. I just like playing around with shit, and when shit works out, I like it. So I'm probably doing everything wrong. I am self-taught. So if there is shit that doesn't line up with what your classes told you, don't clock me. Okay, I know I suck, like I'll get better with time. But yeah, and I have this video sped up super fucking quick, and it's also not super in depth because if it was super in depth, like the footage altogether was probably a little bit closer to 2 hours than anything else, and I would not want to post a 2-hour video. But yeah, thank you for watching, and if you want to see how I got the Little Red is Dead look that's been on my Instagram and my Twitter, then this is for you. So I'm first starting off by toning my face with the 4th Ray Beauty toner, and the 4th Ray Beauty skincare line is just amazing. Like, they keep my skin so nice and clear, and my skin has like never looked better ever since I started using their products. So I'm applying the toner all over my face and my neck, and then I'm doing my priming routine with my Exuviance Matte Perfection Primer and the Bahi Cosmetics Sunflower Serum and the Glow product that I talked about in a previous video. And I'm applying those on my cheekbones, my nose, and my forehead area. And then afterwards, I'm gonna rub that all into my face and then bring it down to my neck to make sure that my face is moisturized and primed for the look. Since I am going to be working with my neck area, I did take off my necklace, so I would recommend not be wearing any jewelry or anything on your neck. And I'm taking the Jeffree Star Cosmetics Liquid Lip in the shade Weirdo to black out the areas that I want to have my latex and cotton on. I chose my cheekbone, my neck, and my collarbone. And I like to black out the base before, because whenever I apply the latex and cotton, I just already have like a little outline. So for the collarbone piece, I don't like how I started doing it. It turned out way thicker than I wanted it to be, and so I did show the full part on the cheekbone, but this is just a little snippet of the collarbone. But for the cheekbone area, I did outline my already blacked out space with latex, and then I laid down 2 pretty thick layers of cotton just over the black area. And then I took toilet paper afterwards and applied it on top just to have it blend a little bit easier into my skin. And then after that, I took the liquid latex and I lined the perimeter of the toilet paper to blend it into my skin. And then once I did that, I started scooping the latex onto the brush and just pressing it into the toilet paper so it would soak all the way through to the cotton. And that way it would create a pretty even base. Or not even base, but a pretty solid base. And then I just repeated the same process from my cheekbone onto my neck. And then after I finished the neck piece, I took just a little bit more latex on each of the pieces and just pressed it into it just to make sure that it was soaking through to the cotton and to make sure that there was a strong base that I could bend just a little bit, so whenever I created the gashes, they would open up a little bit more. And then I started taking orange shadows to cancel out the white, so whenever I applied foundation and my concealer on top of it, it wouldn't look like a different skin tone color. So I'm taking the orange pan from the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe palette collab, the first one, and I'm taking Charm from the Androgyny palette from Jeffree Star Cosmetics as well. I started by going to the outside of the latex and then working my way into it. I would wait until the latex is completely dry. If not, you will get latex on your brush and you will ruin your brush. So make sure that your latex is completely dry. And you can do that just by tapping on it and checking. This is where I started to apply concealers and foundations. Here I'm using a CoverGirl concealer. That didn't work out for me just because the doe foot was so small. It was covering such a small area. So I took a Maybelline concealer that was more of like a squeeze kind of thing, and I just squeezed a bunch of that onto the neck piece, or the collarbone piece, and blended it in with my Real Techniques Beauty Blender. And then I applied the Tarte Shape Tape foundation on top of that just to blend it in a little bit more. And then I repeated the same Maybelline concealer and Tarte foundation onto the cheekbone and onto the neck. And here I'm taking the Hello Happy, Be Happy foundation, whatever it's called, in the lightest shade, and I'm applying that all over my face to blend it in with the prosthetic. And then I'm taking a small detail brush and working that into the corners and the outlines of each of the latex and the cotton mixture, just to make sure that there's no orange and no discoloration showing through. And then I'm going to be taking the Tarte Shape Tape concealer and concealing my under eyes, highlighting the bridge of my nose, my upper lip, my chin, my jaw, my forehead, and my smile lines. And I wanted to highlight a little bit more than I normally do, just because that way whenever I go to contour, it'll make my face look a little deeper set, since I'm going to be using different colors to contour my face later. And here I'm just blending that all in. Then after I blend out my concealer, I'm taking the Maybelline Fit Me loose powder on a little Morphe brush, and I'm pressing that into my under eyes and my nose, basically anywhere that I concealed and anywhere that I get a little bit more oily. And then I'm also going to be patting that onto the latex and cotton, just keeping up with the same routine that I'm doing with my face now. And then I'm going to take a bigger, fluffier brush and just apply that to the rest of my face, like I normally how I do my makeup. And then for my eyebrows, I'm using the Benefit Cosmetics Precisely My Brow Pencil in the shade 4.5, and I'm outlining the bottom half of my eyebrow. And then I'm taking the Anatasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow in the shade Medium Brown, and on a small angled brush, I'm filling in the rest of my eyebrow. This is the part where it gets a little bit tricky because you're trying to cut the gashes into the latex and cotton, and I had a lot of trouble, obviously, as you can see, cutting the collarbone piece because that one was a trial and error, so the cotton and toilet paper was a lot thicker, so I have to hold my skin tight a lot and pick up the latex and just really cut it. And so like the weird angle of me like looking down at it while cutting it is me looking at a mirror that's sitting on my lap. And I'd be super careful with this part because if you do the latex and cotton on your face and your neck, that's where it gets kind of scary because like you could cut yourself so easily doing this, so just be careful. And then here I'm just cutting off little ends from the gashes to make sure that you can actually see the wound part of it and it's not closed, because I was noticing that where I'd cut it, it was slowly closing, so I just wanted to make sure you could actually see the inside of the latex and cotton. And here I'm taking the Modern Renaissance palette and using the red colors in it to apply to the outside of the cuts, just to make them look a little bit more irritated, to look like actual irritated flesh. And I'm using the darkest red in there, which is the red ochre color, and just applying that on just directly where I made the scissor cuts. And then after that, I'm using the same black lipstick Weirdo, and I'm applying that to the inside of the cuts and right on the outside, just to make it a little bit more dark. And here I'm contouring my face with the Too Faced Milk Chocolate, or the Chocolate Soleil bronzer. I'm going to be jumping around from SFX and Beauty in this tutorial just because I was waiting for the lipstick to dry so I could add a little bit more shadow. But I wanted to make sure that my forehead was super small because Little Red Riding Hood is a little petite girl. So I wanted to make sure that this is where the highlighting came in to really bring out the high points, and the contouring is really going to sink in my low points. Here I'm using the CoverGirl Peach Blush on a fan brush and just applying that to the cheekbones and on the tip of my nose. And now I'm taking another red from the Modern Renaissance palette and applying that more towards the inside of the cuts and then along the edges, just to really brighten up that red. Here I'm taking a yellow from the Morphe 35B palette and applying that to the outside of the latex just to create a little bit more of a bruised effect. And then I'm also going to be going in with the blue and purple from the same 35B palette, again just to make it look more bruised. And then along with that, I'm also going to be adding that to my cheekbones and my forehead, my nose, and my under eye area to really sink in those certain places to give you that really, dead look. And I also took the red shadows from the Modern Renaissance palette and outlined my lips and my nose. Here I'm using the Soft Glam palette. I'm using whatever red was left on that brush, and then also dipping into orange soda and burnt orange and just putting that in my crease. It's a really simple eye look for this. And then I'm taking the Jeffree Star Cosmetics liquid lip in the shade Celebrity Skin and applying that to my lips. I did a really bad job at showing that I was doing that, but... And then I'm gonna make some fucking thick ass wings. These were thick wings. She was not playing with those wings. I don't know who I thought I was making my wings this thick, but they were thick as fuck. Look at how thick them are. Like, what the fuck? I'm using the Kiss Foaming Lashes, and how I applied them is I applied to my inner corner where it would be, but I applied the lashes a little bit off my lid to make my eyes look bigger and to bring the lash just up a little bit more. Here I'm taking the ColourPop liquid lipstick, or the ultra matte lip, in the shade LAX, and I'm applying that just a little bit further outside of the beginning and ends of the cuts and gashes, just to make it look like darker blood, because the blood I'm using, as now you can see, is a super bright blood. For the outfit, I literally just put on this racerback white tank, and then I didn't put my arms through the holes to create like this white tube top moment. And here I'm just taking fake blood and I'm putting that right in the cuts, and then making sure that they do drip down. And for a little extra moment, I also put a little bit on the corner of my mouth. And there you go. That's the Little Red is Dead tutorial. I really hope y'all liked it, and if you did, don't forget to give a like, comment, and subscribe, and check out my other videos, and then also make sure you do like the picture on Instagram and retweet it on Twitter. So yeah, again, I'm not an SFX artist, but thanks for watching.